Staying on top of your goals means checking in regularly. I am going to go through my entire quarterly check-in process and how I set up my Q2 goals in hopes that I can inspire you to reach your goals as well. Hello planner friends, my name is Sarah and I love sharing tips and tricks to help you stay optimized and organized and have fun at the same time. Today, I will be sharing my entire Q2 check-in process where I reflect and see how I did during Q1 and how I set up my Q2 goals to ensure that I am staying on target. I shared my goal setting process earlier in the year, so if you want to take a look at that video, it'll be linked here. Take a look if you haven't set your goals or if you need ideas on how to set them up, then meet me back here because the follow-up is as important as the setup. My process does involve checking, reviewing how I did, and then setting up. Anything that I use will be linked down below, any items. If you do choose my links, thank you so much. A lot of these products do give me a kickback and it helps me keep this channel going. So without further ado, let's jump right in. I used the Erin Condren goal setting planner to write all of my goals. I wrote one goal in each one of the tabs, which I will then transfer to these sheets that I can insert in my Erin Condren ring agenda because that's where I do most of my planning. The reason I'm going to transfer them is because I need to restructure some goals, like the dates. I need to restructure some of the action steps because a few things have changed. They're essentially the same goals, just a little bit different. And I created this matrix where I was going to do certain things in my 12-week year, which some of those things I didn't do or did a little bit differently. So that's why I need to change things up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take each goal and write it down on one of the sheets. And I'm still going to use my goal planner, but these sheets will help me have like a more quarterly focus. I'm going to grab my clay art pens. It's funny because each sheet has its own color, which matches with the goal planner, and it really helps me color code my goals. So each goal has a different color, which for me is just perfection. That's how my brain works. Right now I'm writing down my first goal, which you can see like this goal that we had, like we were like, oh sure, we're gonna move by November 2025. That was a blatant lie. That was unrealistic. So I had to change it to basically when my apartment lease ends. And then here I have my second goal. I did achieve some of the things, which was really exciting. That's what I love doing about like quarterly check-ins. I love that you're like, oh my gosh, I did this. Or even if you don't achieve your goal just like you said you were, there are things that you do and it's so great. It feels so awesome. So you can see like I'm keeping with the same color scheme for each goal, and then I'm first writing them down and being a little bit more structured in the way I write them down because the first time around I wrote like a ton of different like points. My business, I think I have a pretty big goal, but I feel like it is doable because of how it's actually going. Like I'm getting a ton of clients and I am just so excited about this. Here I'm crossing out a few things that I won't do. I really didn't get to go wild this year. I'm changing a few things around in my travel goal. And basically my travel goal is to travel to certain places without breaking the bank, you know, because sometimes when you travel, things get out of hand and I really don't want that. So I want to be able to travel and have fun while still sticking to the budget. Then my next goal here is more about like being debt free, which I don't think like debt free as such, but like debt free from high interest cards and things like that. That's basically what we're aiming at for this year. Now that I wrote things down, I really want to check in with my goals. I actually like set up this notes page in my monthly planner. It was intended to be like a goal check-in and kind of like a meter. How much of the goal have I accomplished? Like with those little arrows, I'm like filling in, is it like halfway there? How much of the goal have I accomplished? And it's really great to see things like this, to see it in kind of like a meter. At least that's how my brain works, in this kind of like how much like progress thermometer. That's my brain right there. So that's what I'm doing. I'm filling in like how I feel about how I'm going about each goal, and a few things I'm like, actually I've probably done better than I thought I did at this point. So I am really happy, really excited about that. Which, when you're goal setting, when you're checking in with your goals, just remember to be flexible. Because, for example, with me, I have like a big goal of becoming healthy, losing weight, being more active. And for a good chunk of last quarter of Q1, I was sick. I had like a muscular problem, and then I had bronchitis for like a whole month. So I said to myself, like, despite all of these issues, I'm going to say like I did great, because despite being sick, I made healthier choices. My husband and I were really on this journey. So I am going to give myself grace in that aspect. And now that I kind of filled in my check-in, which if you're not checking in with your goals, do it now. Because if you set goals for the year, if you really want to accomplish things, if you're not doing check-ins, how do you know how you're doing? So this is just my reminder to you. And right now I'm kind of eliminating one side of these sheets, because I want this specifically to be for 3 months at a time, especially this front sheet here. So I'm going to like create bullet points for action steps, which I already did in my goal planner. I kind of had like a whole plan for the year for some of these goals, and that was really helpful. But I need to like regroup at this point. And it's okay, be flexible. Make sure that you have that flexibility to change things up, to change up your action steps, because circumstances change a lot. I'm using these beautiful glitter pens from Erin Condren. They're like my favorite thing in the world, because they're dot pens. They're all glittery, so they add a lot of visual interest. And something about me, I love using the same color scheme for things. So you're gonna see that across all of my goals. And you can really see the glitter here. It's just so stinking cute, so adorable. I love me some glitter. I didn't have like a good click art pen that had this kind of like softer pink, so I just used like a thin highlighter from Erin Condren. What I'm doing here is I am breaking up my goal into different months. Like, where do I want to be each month of the year, which pertains to my goal? And the bullet points are, how am I going to get there? Like, if I want to work on certain things throughout the month, like what are 4 things that will help me get to that action step? So that's kind of how I set it up. It works for me. It works for my brain to see it this way. And then I don't know what I'll use the back for. The back 4 of these sheets are just like action steps as well. So I don't have that yet. I'm just gonna like bookmark these with this little paper clip so I can reference them regularly. And yeah, this was basically my check-in and regrouping process for my goals. Let me know in the comments how you check in with your goals. I'm really excited to hear about it. I'm I'm going to open up my goal planner. I'm not using the weekly check-in pages as much, just a little bit, but I'm mainly going to be doing my check-ins quarterly, and I might use the pages, not sure yet, but I'll definitely check in my regular planners. Well, that was fun, wasn't it? Let me know in the comments how you feel, how you are doing with your goals. If you have accomplished any of them already, even during Q1, let me know of any special goals that you have coming up. I want to hear it. Let's cheer each other on. Let's remain accountable. I'm remaining accountable by sharing these videos with y'all, because if it weren't for this motivation, I probably wouldn't stick to it. Just kidding. I would try my best, but it does help. So y'all are keeping me accountable, and I thank you for that. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more planning tips and tricks, and hit the bell for notifications so you never miss a video. Thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate y'all so much. I hope you have a wonderful Q2, and hope to see you around. Watch this video next. Bye.